Hello. It's just me. No, it's not. Hello, welcome. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's play briefing for Round the Twist, the musical. With book, music and lyrics by Paul Hodge, based on the incredibly popular stories of Paul Jennings and co-produced with the brilliant team here at QPAC. Before we begin tonight, I'd like to honour the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal and Yagara people, and on behalf of all the creatives working in this theatre, we acknowledge that this space, this place, has always been and will always be a site of rich, deep and diverse storytelling. Well, welcome to the final subscriber briefing of 2024. This year we have been through the gas-lit drawing rooms of 19th century London, out and across the footy fields of the cutaway Currawongs, to the glass-encased bedroom for a suburban Greek tragedy in Medea, into a slice of contemporary American life, an ode to First Nations manhood, and now we land here on the shores of Port Noranda, where strange things are starting to happen inside a lighthouse. My name is Daniel Evans and I am the Associate Artistic Director here at Queensland Theatre, and it is my pleasure to be with you all tonight to celebrate the largest production to drop anchor on a Queensland Theatre stage in 7 years. This one has been in the... Yes, thank you. Well, look at this. Get ready. This one has been in the making since 2016 and is here tonight because of the fierce advocacy of Queensland Theatre, QPAC, Director Simon Phillips and our former Artistic Director, Lee Lewis. So what's this show all about? Well, in an old lighthouse, single dad Tony Twist and his kids Pete, Linda and Bronson are about to embark on a magical adventure to unravel a 100-year-old mystery and rewrite history. This musical is a riotous night in the theatre filled with ghost dogs, meddling mermaids, haunted circus clothes, phantom ships, and a pair of very, very smelly feet. This is fun for the whole family, and it's taken an extended theatrical family to forge this musical to life. Now, usually the cast and crew would introduce themselves, but a show this epic needs an epic introduction. So would you please welcome to the stage your 2024 Twist family, Matt Hetherington, here they come, Charlie Oakley, Hanlon Innocent, Lucas Serro, Sebastian Serro, and Edison A. Come on down. Close behind them, please welcome the man responsible for the show, Paul Hodge, director and dramaturg Simon Phillips, and our fabulous cast, Liz Buchanan, David James, Brian Probitz, Nick Van Litz, Carla Beard, Carlo Bommelgay, Laura Ranieri, Taylor Johns, Alexander Ty, Tamika Wines, Caleb Monk, Arena Lysick, Mark Doggett, and our stellar creative team. Choreographer, Andrew Hallsworth, set and costume designer, Renee Mulder, lighting designer, Ben Hughes, and sound designer, Brady Watkins. This is the cast and crew of Round the Twist. Oh my gosh, this is wild. So amazing to have you all here and meeting some of our nearest and dearest. These are our best friends. Amongst these people are subscribers, avid fans, Round the Twist absolute enthusiasts, and we are so excited to give you a glimpse behind the curtain tonight, and you can see this incredible world that's starting to come together. My first question is for the Twist family who are here. Hello. Hi, Twist family. How are you? How are you, Bronsons?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, good. My gosh, it's like I'm seeing three. What is the story around the Twist? What happens in this musical of yours?
Yes, we could talk for quite a while about this.
Let's do the short version.
I'll start. So our story begins with the Twist family moving from the city to Port Noranda, a seaside town, into the lighthouse. And it doesn't take them long to figure out that something really strange is going on in this port. And there's something really strange in that it's not done. But that something strange is happening with their lighthouse. Weird things keep happening. And it seems to all be connected to their lighthouse and this music that emanates from it.
Brilliant.
How many people have seen the show? Well, then you people will know, lucky you, what Round the Twist is really about. But for me, who's a relative newcomer to it, it's really about the magic of growing up and the magic of family adventure. And all those things that happen when a new loving family goes to a totally new area and experience supernatural experiences and have the mystery and the magic of the young boy, how he sees the world, and then as the younger kids, how they see the world, and then the dad who has lost his wife and how he sees the world. And all those things intertwining is really what Round the Twist is about.
Great. Lucas Sebastian Edison, is that right? Does that sound about right? Do you have anything that you want to add?
When they first get to the lighthouse, there are a lot of strange things happening, like with the music, and everything's connected to the puzzle, which they figure out they have to solve, without spoiling too much. And so throughout when they do the puzzle, they all come together as a family. So at the end, they're all a family again, and yeah.
I think our character Bronson as well, like in my point of view, I think at the start of the show, Bronson has a mindset of he wants to do his own thing, but then by the end, without saying too much again, he realizes that he needs his family just as much as they need him, so.
I'm just going to say one thing. Bronson is a really gross person. He farts a lot and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Paul Hodge, we are all here because of you. This show has come from hundreds of short stories that made 52 episodes in 4 seminal television seasons. How do you take on that mythology? How did you make inroads into the Paul Jennings universe?
First, the musical is only based on the first 2 seasons rather than all 4, because the first 2 are the ones that were based on Paul's short stories and that Paul wrote the episodes for. But even that is 26 episodes of television, and quite a challenge because any television series is episodic in its storytelling, and obviously in a musical you want it to be one whole. And so it's trying to find a way to bring all of those disparate episodes together, which in Round the Twist, they're kind of totally unrelated to each other because they're all based on short stories, which has been the challenge of it all, but also the joy of it all. And it's kind of trying to pick there are so many great episodes, so that part of the challenge is picking what episodes we're going to have. And so at the beginning I went, what are my favorite episodes that I remember the most as a kid? But then I also trawled the internet to check what everyone else's favorite episodes were, and was going to all these fan sites and I was like, good, they're matching up with what the episodes that I remembered. And so that helped kind of inform the process of which episodes would come into the story. And then it's been a process with Simon working on trying to shave each of those storylines down to their core and kind of merge them all together into one whole.
Amazing. Monsieur Simon Phillips. Just another small little show we have here. You are probably one of the most known, preeminent theatre directors in this country, and you've directed everything from small chamber pieces through to huge Shakespeares, but we know you and love you because of your commitment to new Australian musicals, and I'm talking, of course, of Ladies in Black, Muriel's Wedding. How do you do it? And why do you do it? How do you enter into a new Australian musical that feels so ambitious and large? Where do you start? And what is it about this one that first caught your eye or captured your heart?
I think it's about seminal Australian stories that feel like you'd be proud to see those particular people leaping onto a stage in our country and kind of presenting a form, working inside a form that has been owned by the Americans, and just for a moment there by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and go, but what happens if we take that genre and that style of presentation, and the people who come out couldn't be anything other than Australians working in that area. And then you start looking at the seminal works that, so many musicals just need such an expensive and such a huge undertaking for everyone that for them to launch off a source material rather than being entirely original is often a very good idea. So they carry, as is proven tonight, a kind of an audience people who already have an affection for the work that you're dealing with, hence my involvement with a lot of movies and now this TV series or a book that become... And then you look at them and go, the scale is ridiculous. The likelihood of taking something that was made for celluloid and squeezing it onto a stage space is almost certainly impossible. So let's go for it. It's going to be marvelous.
Well, let's talk about that. Renee Mulder, there you are, down there. How are you? We're so far away from each other.
Hello.
We go from the top of a lighthouse to to the ocean side, to an island, to a classroom, to an attic. Can you tell us, how did you go about conceiving the world that is sort of partly here right now? What was the journey for you?
It obviously started with the source material, and it started with looking at the television show, but then talking about the structure that is the lighthouse, something that is usually very tall, and in the environments that these lighthouses are in, well, the one that we're in Port Naranda, it is surrounded by a beautiful natural landscape, which is also part of the storyline in a way that, it is the fresh air, it is the sea, it is the sand, it is the surf. So this is obviously the starting point of what you can see behind you. And then Craig Wilkinson, who is the video designer and plays quite a large part in the storytelling of this world as well. I've sort of created a blank canvas to which his work will create so many more locations and transitions and add to the storytelling through video projection.
Great. I'm going to come for Ben Hughes now, beside you, and Brady. You two obviously add to the world. When do you, for us who maybe I'm informed, when do you enter the process? Do you have to wait for Renee to do her work? And Brady, when do you come into the room to offer sound and bring it to life orally? When do you kind of enter, and how do you go about shaping what Renee's given you? And also what Simon's giving you as well?
Certainly for me, everything in a way is sort of in your head until you actually get in the theatre and you get to put it together. We have done a little bit of a thing on this show called pre-visualisation, where we're actually able to, create 3D models of the show and have a look at what it might look like in the beginning. But in a lot of the ways, we're actually waiting until very late in the process for me to actually, be able to put light on actors. Whereas Brady...
I've had the joy of being in the room full time and seeing this beautiful show take shape. The most important part of a musical is how it sounds. So being able to be in and watching it all develop and working closely with our beautiful music team in the band has been great. But then on top of that, being a full-time silly bugger with Simon and working out what quirky, nostalgic little Easter eggs from the show we can put into the sound design has been great.
Brilliant. I think one of the greatest things I've seen from popping into the room is just how fun it is, but also seeing the mix of ages. I'm going to direct this question to Liz, David and Brian in the middle there as our established artist. It's not every day that you get to share a stage with a cast aged between 10 and 48, shall we say. What has it been to play in and around that energy and have that sort of intergenerational exchange?
I love having so much energy in the room. I keep saying the kids, and when I say the kids, I don't mean Bronson kids, I mean the 20-somethings who are mind-blowingly multidisciplinary, just explosions. And I just love that we look at ourselves and go, we're like the adults and they're the kids, and they are adults. But their energy, because they're playing teenagers, is just gorgeous. And then every time we've got these boys in, it's another flavour, another energy. They're all really different Bronsons, and they all bring something that every time we get a new one coming into that space is their own flavour, and it's joyous, makes us smile and laugh and gives us another little kick each time. So I love this cast.
It's hard to add to that, really. Yeah, it's you don't sort of realise you move to the elder statesman part of the cast until you suddenly are. And I think, well, maybe not statesman, that's probably overreach, but But I think it sort of touches on the beauty of this, which it works on many, many levels for many, many age groups. And we sit here going, wow, look at the energy of the guys who are 20 and 30, and look at the open energy, the sponge-like energy. These guys can pick stuff up like that. And it reminds you of how fleeting the whole thing is, and that it's about the journey. And this show is about multiple journeys for multiple age groups, whether they be families, different types of families, and the whole sort of thing in between. And if you can't, a lot of shows have that phrase, there's something in it for everyone applied to them, but if there's ever one that it really does apply to, it feels like it's this one. So hopefully that's what you'll find too.
It's been just a real delight just watching, as everyone has said, the energy that comes from everyone in the room, and you learn so much. I feel very embarrassed when I drop lines or forget lines because these guys don't. They're just astounding to watch. So I'm learning all the time, and it's just so lovely to know that the future is in very, very safe hands.
Yeah. I might actually come to Taylor and maybe Alex. Do you want to respond to that? What's it like working in the room with these amazing pros all around you?
Yeah. Oh wow. No, it's so lovely to have a room full of people with a bunch of different experiences, and I feel so comfortable to go up to some of the more adult people and just ask for help with anything. Like, I've had a few things in this show that I haven't had much experience with or not very confident with, and I've just been able to go up to these amazing actors and be able to ask for help without feeling worried about any judgment or anything. So I feel like it's been such an amazing experience and educational experience for me and my skills as a new actor. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very similar. I have learnt a lot about just making bold choices and just being confident from every single performer and creative sitting beside me. It has been a privilege to watch, especially Brian. He is just incredible to watch in the room, someone I really, really look up to in our space. But yeah, everyone is just a delight to see every day in rehearsal room.
Oh, feel the love up here. It's amazing. I'm going to come to the Gribble gang now. So Nick, Carlo and Carla. You three are sort of the quasi-villains of this work, but watching your choreographic track develop over the past few weeks, it feels like you have some of the most physical tracks in the work. Like, you guys cartwheel and leap and sashay and slay across the entire show. What's it been like to work with Andrew, our choreographer, in conceiving a brand new musical and actually working in such a physical way?
Firstly, Nick's going to show you some of these flips right now. I'm kidding. Yeah, true. Great question. First of all, we play the Gribble gang. I play Rabbit, this is Tiger, and that's Gribble Jr. And working on a new musical is nothing you've ever done before. I mean, it's even completely different from doing a show that already exists or doing something in, any of the formats that anyone up here has done before, either in uni or like younger theatre productions and things like that. It's completely different. You have people, like we just talked about, from incredibly experienced parts of the world of their like art forms. You have like experienced actors who've done just straight plays, you've done people who've done just musicals. But I think bringing all of that into one space where we're just offering bold choices and then being shaped by, our incredible choreographer, Andrew, and then being told what not to do by our incredible director, Simon, when the offers aren't as great as they could be. But it's just such a fun room. Like, it's nothing like you'll ever do. And I have so much fun with the two of these guys just being absolute idiots on stage. So when you come see the show, watch for all the stupid stuff we do. You'll have a great time.
I think the thing that I appreciate the most is that this is the first time I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Andrew Holsworth. And the thing that I love the most about the way he choreographs a show is he knows exactly what he's got from everyone. He understands everyone's skill sets and he knows exactly what he can get out of everyone. And I find that he's got a really good way of getting exactly the maximum out of everyone he works with. So he's put things into the show that, like, It's not like, okay, in this part you do a triple turn and then you do a split jump and stuff, and everyone has to do that because you're all the dancers. He knows exactly who everyone is and what they do best, and choreographs the whole show around that, and it really like propels the storytelling because of that. It's really quite something that you don't get quite a lot, and it's very nice.
Yeah, I think that's been the pleasure of working with Andrew, is how story-driven and character-driven it is. And every time we come away from shaping something on the floor or choreographing something on the floor, I feel like I have 10 times the idea of my character than I did before, just from having, but he's across all of the characters though, like all the character choices. It's insane. He's like, and then you would do that, and then you do this. Just very character-driven and very easy for us to then slot in and have better ideas of who our characters are.
Andrew, on that note, we're going to come to you. Yes, we are. What is your process like? Do you have an idea of what you're going to do before you enter the room, or do you really watch, listen, and paint upon the bodies that are given to you? Like, how do you like to work? And how have you worked here, I guess? Yeah.
Well, I rely heavily on the director because I love to be driven by what the story needs to be on the floor, and try and get into that somehow with the vernacular of what physical Australian people are like, which is very different to anywhere else in the world. And so I just try and live or think into when I was, Bronson's age or Pete's age or Linda's age or Matt's age, and just kind of try and work that out and then put that onto the actor and shape things as we go. But I love the collaboration. I always have, and building new musicals is what I love doing, and I just I rely on everyone in the room, I sort of try not to lead with ego and just let everyone kind of have a say and just take it from there, see what happens, yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, clap. It's amazing, man. Now, this is a large cast, so hopefully you'll get to see every single one of them out there every night, but if not, we actually do have 4 absolute legends who are literally waiting in the wings and sometimes on stage. I'm, of course, talking about our ensemble of swings who know and understudy. Between them, I've got like about 18 other characters. They are Tamika, Caleb, Irina, and Mark, who are sitting over there, who at any minute are ready to swing in, take over any of these performers' show tracks. For you 4, what is that process like? Today, Irina, you had to... Maybe we should start with what happened to Irina today in rehearsal. Why don't you tell us what happened today?
Today, just a little small absence of the great Kristen O'Leary and Tarita Botsman. So an operatic soprano and a pocket rocket, who play very, very different characters in the show. An 80-year-old woman to a fortune teller who's been brought back to life, and I guess a Gold Coast cashed up bogan. So quite a spectrum. I guess for us swings, between us we cover all the adult male, adult female, adolescent male, adolescent female, all the characters are covered between the 4 of us, and we're very lucky that we have such an amazing bunch that anytime we've had to step in, we just have 10 pats on our shoulders telling us what a good job we've done, even if we've missed something somewhere. Like we're covering some incredible people, and we also have amazing people behind us to help us do what is quite a difficult job, stepping in last minute. But we've got the support.
Brilliant. And the 4 of you are incredible. It's amazing to watch. How many of you have you been on in rehearsal for? Have you all been on for someone else yet in rehearsal, or?
Yeah.
Expand.
Not so much.
More or less, and then if you're the beautiful spectacular here, you've been 2 at one time and speaking to yourself, but...
Brilliant. So good. Paul, I'm coming for you soon. I'm coming to the audience in a minute. Paul, can you talk to us a bit about the music in this show? When you were conceiving it, what's the kind of musical palette you're playing in? What can we expect?
I think, well, part of the TV show is obviously the iconic theme song. And so that was kind of my touchstone, that I wanted to make sure that the theme song felt like it was in the same world as the rest of the show. And then it was very important to me that these are Australian stories, and I was listening for inspiration, I was listening to a lot of Australian music to try and help inform what the music would be. So I think I went through like one of the Hottest 100, Triple J Hottest 100 one year, and was just going like, yeah, these ones feel like they're in the vibe of the show. And I think I did that a few years in a row. So yeah, I kind of was absorbing a lot of Australian music as part of the influence for it.
This is a question to anyone in the cast. What is it like to be able to sing in an Australian dialect as opposed to an American dialect? Does anyone want to speak to that? Anyone?
It's a massive relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice to be able to use your actual own voice on stage and not have to be, encompassing some other culture or some other history, and it's a real delight. And I, as someone who watches most of the time, it's been really pleasurable for me to watch all of the actors, reveal themselves as Aussies.
Yeah. Woohoo! Go Australia. Go Australia. Charlie.
I'd love to add to that. It's so freeing. It's so beautiful to sing in our authentic voices, because we're instantly kind of catapulted into more authenticity as the people we're embodying on stage. And we get really cool rhymes that are really different. So that's such a pleasure. And yeah, like the difference between like a cultivated kind of Australian dialect that you might get from Matron Gribble, and then, those classic little like, Bronson, like all of that. Like, we have such a spectrum of that Aussie dialect, and I think it's really nice on the ears.
It's really grouse. Okay, on that note, it's time to come out to the audience. Do you have any questions out there? You want to raise your hand, and I will. Any question, you can ask any question you like. Yes, here in the mustard cardigan. Okay, the question is a bit more about the origin of the story, and asking Paul Hodge if he met Paul Jennings and was able to ask anything about around the twist mythology, and whether it's true that Paul got stuck in Paul Jennings' glass elevator.
It happened. It really did happen. I'll come to that in a second. In terms of the origin story, I had, and some people will have heard this story many times now, but in the show there's Bronson, the youngest twist, saves up the stink of his feet for 6 months to use it as a weapon. And every time he does it, he says, "Up the pong!" And back in end of 2016, my mum was changing my nephew's nappy, and she went, "Oh, that's a pongy nappy." And my brain immediately went, "Up the pong!" Which I think shows like the enduring power of Paul Jennings' stories to be able to penetrate my mind in that way and just remain with me till I was an adult. And so, yes, I did meet from that moment when I had that idea. Then I met with Paul days after that to discuss with him and what my vision was for the show, and we had like a great conversation. And since then, I would send him like treatments and discuss things with him. And after each workshop, send him a video and a script draft, and we would discuss afterwards. And then the elevator thing was because just before this production, then I went down to the Lighthouse and then on to Warrnambool, where Paul lives, with Tamsin West, who was the original Linda in the first season and also sang the theme song. And when we were on our way down, then Paul said, and there was someone who was going to be like filming, like we were going down there to like film an interview thing with Paul, and there was someone who was going to be filming. And so he called me when we were driving down and was like, "I've got a little surprise for you in my office when you get here." And so I was like, okay. And then we arrived there, and his wife was there and said, like, Oh, he's upstairs in the office with Tom, who's filming. So like, we've got an elevator here. So maybe you just want to go up in the elevator. And so then we go up, and we were halfway up, and then the elevator just stops, and Paul goes, "Oh no, it's happened again!" And he went, "We've only just got this installed. Oh my God, I don't know how we're going to get this fixed." And he had a remote that he had like remotely stopped the elevator. And then I was fully getting, there were like openings at the top and bottom, and I was fully getting ready that I was going to need to like jump out or like crawl out. But then he moved the lift again, and we got out. So yeah.
Cheeky chops.
So there's always a twist with Paul Jennings, basically.
It's like Willy Wonka. Anyone else? There's another question out there. Yes, up the back there, maroon top. Yes, you. Was it based on a TV show? Paul.
The musical. Yes, the musical is based on a TV show. Round the Twist. The same
Well,
title.
have we got a show for you? Yeah.
That's a good question as to what it's on in Australia. It was on. So the first season aired in 1990, and then the second season was on in 1992, and the third and fourth were, I think, 2000, 2001. But where were
that's
you
all right. It's okay. Welcome.
Were you in the UK? Because weirdly, I did not know this before adapting it, but Round the Twist is actually bigger in the UK than it is in Australia. It was it aired first on the BBC, but Channel 7 was kind of like dragging its feet on airing it. And it had already aired on the BBC, and the BBC had already asked for a second season. It was already being translated into like Swedish, I think, before it was on in Australia.
So anyone who's anyone in the UK knows Round the Twist.
Except for you! Okay, next question. Is there another question around here? Was there someone at the back? Question. Someone in the middle. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Question. Oh, yes. Frequent caller. Oh, so there's three different. The question is, there's three different Bronsons. Will we be seeing three different shows? Simon.
It's very important that you come 3 times because they're entirely different. That's right. It's important that you sit in A reserve seats so that you can appreciate the detailed work that Eddie and Seb and Luca are doing.
Can I ask you something? Obviously, in a new musical, in any new work, things change, things fluctuate, scripts change, the colours of scripts change. How have these young lads gone with that?
Well, as I think Deej was saying, like they do have pretty steel trap-like minds. They're very quick to pick things up. It's tough because they have to. Sometimes one of them goes up, and it's the job of the other two to watch carefully and see what changes are being made. And usually the two who are sitting there are going like that. And then they get up and miraculously they can do the blocking that we just changed. But sometimes if one of them's home, they see the video that was made. We film rehearsals every day so that indeed the Bronsons can check up on each other and remind themselves of changes that have been made during the day, it's always very interesting to see who did their homework best when they come in the next day, how like that they are. They're very quick to shift. Sometimes for our own amusement, we put all 3 of them up together and make them all do it at the same time. That has its own particular pleasures, nothing to do with the show, but they look like idiots, and it's like something a bit Paul Jennings-like. Yeah.
Hey, Bronsons, do you have a favourite part in the show?
Well, I have several favourite parts in the show, but my favourite is actually scene with Brian. Yes. You might remember this from the TV show. It's The Ghost in the Dunny, Dead Ned, and I can't say that much, but we have a few interactions with Pooh and, Yeah, it's really great.
Well, I was just about to say that. So that's probably one of my favourite too. But apart from that, there's a very big song and dance that we do that probably can't say what it is. But it was really fun choreographing that with Andrew Holsworth, like exploring the different things we could do and like different things to make it like Bronson and funny for the show. So yeah, and Up the Pong is one of the songs that is very, very fun and funny. Yeah, I think those are the things I love the most about it.
I just like getting lifted up. I can't stop smiling.
There you go. It's the simple things in life, like being lifted up. Any other any questions coming around this way? Any questions? Anything at all you want to know about? Any? Yes, here. Oh, what age is it suitable for? Who wants to, Matt, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, well, I have a 9-year-old at home, 9-year-old daughter, and I have a 12-year-old son. And so I also teach lots of really young kids. I reckon anywhere from like a sensible 6-year-old up. Do you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that there are some, like my 9-year-old, or my son, when he was 6, it'd be like, don't take him anywhere near a theatre. Everyone will want to kill him. But whereas my daughter she was fine. She could like be able to just watch. It's very easy to watch because it's very engaging and the performers are brilliant. Sorry, it just snuck out then. Yeah, no, I reckon 7 and up, absolutely. And the one thing I'll say about that is that there are quite a few younger people here. It's so great to have an Aussie stories told on stage with Aussie performers. We talked about that. But I have a feeling there's going to be people that come to see the show that are going to watch these brilliant young actors, these Bronsons. They're going to go, I want to do that. And that is super exciting.
Brilliant. That's good. Yes. So good. Any other questions? I'm going to keep coming. Any other questions down through here? Yes, down the front. That was a very astute hand. Will there be an original cast recording? Paul Hodge.
We're all hanging on the answer.
Yeah.
Fantastic question.
So am I. I'm
There's
going,
also some
what's the
producers
answer
in the
to this
back row that I
question?
can see.
It's the $20 you leave in the bucket on the way out.
Indeed. I would love that to happen. At the moment, I've just been thinking about getting the show up and the musical. Yeah, I would love that to happen. Who hopefully, but we will see. I don't think we have an answer.
Your request will go back to management.
Yes.
Your call is important to us. Amazing. I'm going to ask Laura a question now. I know. On that note, I would like to, Laura, what's your favourite song in the show? What's the one that you cannot stop tapping your toes to? Is there a particular song that you're like, yes, every time you go, I'm still not sick of that song yet, or I love it?
Well, the theme song is brilliant, obviously. I really love New Kids. I think that will be the song that everyone goes home and can't get out of their heads when they're trying to go to sleep.
Did you understand what she said? Because it sounded like I really love naked.
New Kid.
New Kid.
Kids.
Does anyone else up here have a song that they cannot get out of their head that just has become an absolute earworm on the off the sound, as we call it, a soundtrack? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Does anyone have a favourite song, like an absolute earworm? Charlie.
There are so many.
I could say some. I could sing a song if you like.
You could sing a song.
Lighthouse.
That's it. No, like this, I mentioned to Paul, I'm very lucky. I get to sing some really, really beautiful ballads in this show. And I mentioned the other day that I never actually consciously learnt them because they're just so I don't know what the word is, just like natural and magnetic. So they're beautiful, but we have lots of really funny little kind of sonic motifs that travel throughout this show, and you can't get enough of them. I think they're brilliant, and we're very grateful for that music, so thank you.
Amazing. I would also keep an ear out for Someone Else's Shoes. That's also a really great track, just FYI.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to talk about the songs without spoiling too much, because all of the songs are incredibly plot-driven, which you don't always get with contemporary musicals these days, jukebox musicals in particular, whereas it's crafted, it's new music. Every single lyric of music, if not just for a great punchline, is to tell the story and to further the story. And that's also in the choreography, that's also in the design, that's in all aspects of it. All aspects of this production are curated and created for this gorgeous story that we've been talking about. Yeah, but also they're just super catchy as well.
Brilliant.
It's a really hard question to answer because all the songs are so catchy, especially the one that I find myself singing all the time is DJ's song, because it's really easy to hum along to, and like in the morning I'll be like, and now I'm making my coffee, and then I'll go to the toilet. It's like, all of the songs are so catchy and like really, really easy to hum along and sing to, so yeah.
100%. I'm evidence of that. Yes, yes. So that's the question about the evolution of the musical. It started in 2016, and the question is, how did it grow and evolve?
First it was the process of like rights negotiation, and then I was writing a first draft. And then in the year of our Lord 2020, when the pandemic happened, and I was trapped in an apartment in New York, and Simon was trapped in Victoria, then we ended up speaking by Zoom, as we all discovered what Zoom was in 2020, and kind of looking at that initial draft, and then at the start of 2021, then we did a workshop here at Queensland Theatre, and which Lee Lewis organised, and which I'm forever grateful for. And we had Nick, who is here with us, has been in every workshop that we've done. He's been with us the whole time, and Tarita.
Yes, Tarita, who was sick today, she was also there.
And Liz. Oh, yeah. Well, no, Liz was there at the first one, but not in the middle one. And so we did that workshop in 2021, and then we did another workshop in April of 2022, and that one was in Melbourne, and then we did another workshop last year in January at Queensland Theatre again. So that's kind of been the process, and the show has changed a lot, and I get people who ask me about like particular moments of going like, oh, is this in like from the TV show, is this in the musical? And I'm often going, it was in the first draft, but then it had to be kind of like shaved away, and I am incredibly lucky to like Simon is a fantastic director. He's also a fantastic dramaturg, the best musical dramaturg that we have in Australia. And so I am incredibly privileged to have been working with him on this show and have him help to shape it.
Yeah, wow, lots of work. Good time, right, 2 more questions. I've got my last 2. I'll come to you first. Okay. The original TV series, everyone should know, is set in the 90s, except for our dear friend in the middle there. You're going to have such an education. I can't wait for you to watch the series. Is this show set in the 90s, or is it in the modern day, or does it or is it?
There's smartphones, so it's not in the 90s. Not anymore.
There were smartphones, but they've been edited out.
They have.
But they're mentioned.
They are mentioned.
It definitely feels like it evokes the feeling of like 90s Australia. I think that kind of seaside town vibe, for sure. Yes, tropical shirt. Are there thoughts of this going on to other places, Paul Hodge? Look at everyone going.
There are thoughts. I mean, Paul wakes up with that thought every morning. It's an international touring production in his head already. But this is its this is its first incarnation, and it's for people to come and for you to tell your friends, and it to prove to be a massive hit in Brisbane first up, and we'll see what happens. Lots of people will come and see it, I'm sure.
Brilliant. Now, on that note, it is time for the most important event of the evening. It is, of course, the raffle. So if you can please pull out your... is that right? Is that what we're doing? Yes, the raffle tickets. Yes, I'm getting the nod. And I believe there's a hat. Is that right? Somewhere. Here it comes, down the stairs. Slowly. So, here it is. Slowly. Pull out your tickets. I'm going to grab... Who would like the honour of drawing the raffle? Do I have any volunteers? Okay, Edison's hand went up first. So, Edison. E, stand up. Come on up. Come over here. All right, we're going to do it. First of all, drum roll, everyone. Drum roll. Yeah, that's it. Pick one out.
F58 black.
Black F58. Hurrah! Well done. You have won a $100 Bacchus restaurant gift voucher at Ridges. So you can go over there, spend up big before you see the show. The good news is, because it's our last play briefing, there is one more winner. So here we go again. You up for it, E? Here we go.
F29.
Black F29. Who's got black F29? Anyone? Hey, you've also won. Now, for the length of the season of Round the Twist, Bacchus is also doing a Round the Twist special dessert. How about that? Do you want to come back, take a seat? Okay, and just see, our winners just see this gentleman in the blue and white check shirt at the end of this briefing, which is very soon. Okay, a couple of announcements. Our 2025 season is now on sale. Hurrah! Amazing. If you have bought tickets, thank you. You've made our day. You are in for a treat. And if you haven't, please hurry. These shows are and will sell out. Starting with our trip to England in Pride and Prejudice. It's going to be a Regency Hot Girl Summer, and we'd hate for you to miss out. So grab your tickets. Everyone's doing it. Season tickets are on sale now. We have 8, 6, 5, and 3 play packages to choose from. So you can contact our friendly ticketing team to find out more. Finally, thank you so much to QPAC, the cast and crew of Round the Twist. I've been so lucky to watch this mega work come to life over the past few weeks, and the work, the warmth and joy that you all bring day to day to this huge task to the room has been just brilliant. On this stage are some of your most established favourite performers and some amazing rising stars of tomorrow. This is the perfect play to close out 2024, and it's perfect to bring everyone along to. Okay, and so to you, our audience, I can see a lot of familiar faces out there. Travel safe, see you in the theatre real soon. And this is the last time we're to meet this year. From Queensland Theatre to us, have a very Merry Christmas, a stunning New Year, and we will see you in 2025. Thank you, and good night.